Hello everyone, I thought I would just pop on for a minute or two and show you my new teacups, and these are just gorgeous. So my latest ones are star constellations, and they are 24 karat gold slathered all over the teacup as well as the saucer, and it also got a beautiful verse. I'll read that out to you in a minute inside the teacup. So these are, and I've got them in black and a few very selected in green. And I just want to show you some of the differences. So, old version was the 12 astrology constellations. New version is 8 specific star constellations. And I've chosen these particular star constellations for a reason, because of their properties. So instead of having just standard old astrology, which is very beautiful, and I've only got, I think, one left, one black one and one only. So the updated or the new versions, like I said, are slathered in 24 karat gold all over the saucer and the teacup. And the old version, so I'll just take off my felt. I had the gold all over. There was a lot of gold in the star constellations, and I had the verse done on the saucer, but not all the stars signs on the saucer, because this is so expensive to do, guys, you would not believe. Because this is real gold and there is so much of this gold, is why they are at a fairly reasonable price, because I actually do those by hand and it's not done in mass production. These here are actually done by me. And the old version didn't have the verse in the teacup, but the new version does. So I will explain. While I'm doing that, actually, I'm going to put some tea in, and we'll do a cup reading while we're going through waiting for these. I'll just use the white one. The white and gold, there's just something about the white and gold. And when I first started with the white and gold, I first thought, white's never going to sell. Who on earth will want white and star constellations? I could not sort of get it in my head between the night skies and moon and stars. But I was wrong. White is actually very, very popular, and it does look absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to put some tea in here, and I'm just using one of my favourite teas. You do get a sample of one of these teas. This one is my black reading blend, and as you can see, you do not need much tea. So you'd be lucky if it's about 1/8 of a teaspoon of tea actually in there. And I'll just pop some water in. So that can be brewing while we wait. I'm only going to put in a little bit of water, just enough to brew the tea. While that's waiting, we can have a look at these delicious black and green. Now the verse I put in here, and I went through a lot of different verses to try and work out what I liked. By popular vote, this was the one we ended up with. And what it says is, beneath the moon and stars above, I brew a cup of tea with love. As I sip, I ponder deep and read the leaves that gently steep. And in here is my classic 32 symbols, and these are taken from 17th century symbols, and a lot of people know them as Lenormand symbols. So some people call these Lenormand cups, and if you read Lenormand cards, which are they're a divination card similar along lines of tarot cards, tea cards and so on, it's symbolic divination in its most simple form, but symbolic divination is actually one of the most accurate forms of divination. So the star constellations that I have on these, we've got Hercules, we have Monoceros, we have Pegasus, we have Southern Cross or Southern Cross, it's known. Monoceros phoenix, not Pegasus, this is Pegasus, Mensa, Delphinius, and Canis major. And gee, what is Canis major for all the dog lovers there? You can't half tell, it looks like a stick figure dog, doesn't it? And it's the same that's on the saucer. And what I've done in the booklet of these, you've got all the symbol meanings of what the images are inside the teacup, but I've also put in the very back of this about these star constellations, the image and their properties. Because with these being on the saucer, when you swirl your tea and tip it over, you can actually read your tea as well as the symbols or the star constellation that it lands on as well. So I have put that also in the back of the booklet. So, and that is, like I said, the beautiful black. It's just something about black, isn't it? These I put a bit of felt down there because I don't like to scratch my own. And this, I've only got 6 of these green teacups, and this is a stunning, it's so hard to photograph, emerald green. Green teacups are the hardest teacup colour to find, believe it or not. But it is absolutely beautiful. So, but yeah, you've got the emerald green and you've got the black and I've got the white, but there is not many of the green. So let's have a look at our tea reading. I'm actually going to take a mouthful of this tea because I'm losing my voice. So you only need about a teaspoon of tea left in there. Get some swirl happening. Some people, and it depends on your traditions and who teaches you, some people say you've got to swirl it with your non-dominant hand so many times and stand on your head and tap 3 times and so on. It really comes down to what practice feels comfortable for you. I always suggest get a bit of swirl happening. Is the best way, and while your swirl is happening, keep rotating. But as you can see, I'm still rotating, but I'm turning upside down as well. So then you leave your cup sit down for a minute or so. Some people will turn it over really quickly. I like to let it drain a little bit more. There is many practices that some people do. Some will just hold their finger on the cup. If you're a reader at a market or a fair or a party as such, you'll probably get a lot of people who don't drink tea. It's surprising how many don't. You can simply get them to hold the cup. If they're not allergic to tea and you don't mind, I would suggest you get them to at least have 1 sip would be ideal. But even if they just sit there and hold the top of the cup and think about what information they want out of the cup. You can even place a watch or a piece of jewellery, a ring or something, a bracelet on the back. It really is completely up to you and what you feel comfortable with, and creating your own customs around it as well. So my practice is I tap 3 times. And the main reason is it's like someone knocking on the door of, can I come in? And really that's what I'm doing. So I'm just grabbing, someone asked me about my pointy sticks. These are actually knitting needles. Go to a charity shop, go and raid Granny's knitting bag if you can. But that's all these are, is just a knitting needle. They make the best pointy sticks. Chopsticks actually work really well, and so do hair sticks, long ones. So now we have our cup ready to read. Now the saucer, like I said, you can actually see some of the tea. It's a little bit of tea here sitting on Mensa. There's a bit of tea here sitting on the Southern Cross. You've got tiny weeny bit that's sitting on the edge of Hercules here. A little bit down here touching on Phoenix. A little bit here on Canis Major. So the simplest way to read these is, if you don't know like what the symbol of the tea itself represents, like there I can actually see is a man sitting. Here I can see a letterbox, but some people may see that as a treehouse, what have you. Round here I can actually see it's almost like a child sitting in a toboggan going down the snow. But if you can't define what the actual leaves are, you simply just read the blob of tea sitting on its symbol. So tea's here's up on Hercules. You would then go to your little booklet and you would find, where am I? Until Linda's just finished printing all these for me. So you go and find your Hercules and you have a look at what all them properties mean. So Hercules is about strength and courage and bravery, and it means using that sheer gut determination. So if you had a question, let's use the scenario of young lady in a dead boring job, and she's wanting to get out of this dead boring job because she's ready for the next level. So if we're looking at a client question like that and we've got tea on Hercules, there would tell me she's got the strength, the stamina, but also that sheer gut determination to strive forward. And I would look at there and say she's got great leadership qualities in able to do so. We then got tea on Mensa. So we then go to your booklet and you look at your properties of Mensa. And Mensa is classified from the Table Mountain, which is a flat top mountain in South Africa. But it's often about overcoming challenges. So mountains is flat top there means literally like a bridge. Look at the project that is in front of you. Don't be afraid of the challenge in front of you, because you've got the will and the strength to do so. Forge forward. T sitting here on the Phoenix would tell me she has had a very difficult time in her past, and probably in the company that she's currently with, because it literally is rise above the ashes, from the ashes. So that's just that little bit of information you get just from a few blobs of tea that's sitting on the saucer itself. So then when you come to your cup, again, if you can't define what the tea is, but trust me, over a period of time, the more you do it, these tea blobs will pop up as images for you and you'll be surprised. But like I said, if you can't, you then just read, okay, tea on the ant. Look in your book at what the ant is. Tea here sitting on the birch rod. Look in your book, what's a birch rod? Again, tea, it's not quite on the cross, but then you've got tea on the mountain, then you've got this bit of tea here on the mouse, and you can look at these again. Yes, there's some challenges here, and yes, she's probably a bit stressed about it, but see on that mouse, you can see this tea here is like a street sign that's pointing, and a street sign would tell me she knows the direction she needs to make, and it is a single street sign, which tells me time to move up and forward, get out of where you are because of the obstacles here. Stop stressing and have the anxiety belly in order to do so, because it's literally time for you to forge forward, and you know you can, because an ant is very much the worker bee, which is hard work, and she's not afraid of hard work or the challenges that may come up for her. We've also got tea sitting on the lady herself, which again, lady on lady. Yes, she may come across lovely and delicate and quiet and sweet, but she's got strength, this girl. We've seen this from her saucer. We've also seen this from some of her challenging symbols down there. So that's how simple it is to do a teacup reading when you're not an experienced teacup reader with the eye that I would have over the years. Don't be afraid. They are a fabulous way of doing your own divination, and it's a good practice to do each and every morning. So these are meant to be used. They are tough. They are not like eggshell china. Eggshell china is so thin and see-through and very fragile. These are meant to be used. They're made of porcelain, and porcelain's a very strong structure. It is also vegan friendly, so no animal bone ash is used when making these. So that is the stunning green, the white, and the black, and there you can actually see the two differences between the black and the white. Black and the green. So because sometimes if you hold that up, you might think, oh, that looks really dark, but it's actually not. You can see the differences in the colour. So pop onto my Etsy store. These are a new release. Like I said, green, I only have 6 and that is it because I can't get hold of green cups. But check out the black and the white. Thanks for listening.